Do you ever feel like you're not quite the man you used to be? That spark, that energy, that confidence just isn't there in the same way. It's a frustrating reality for many men as they get a bit older. Stepping past that milestone of 60, you might feel like your body is letting you down, that certain things are just an inevitable part of aging, something you have to accept. Maybe you've noticed changes you don't want to talk about, things that affect your intimacy, your self-esteem, and even your relationship with your partner. It can feel like a deeply personal failure, a loss of something fundamental to your identity. But what if I told you that some of these changes aren't just about getting older? What if some of the foods you enjoy every day, the things that seem harmless, are actually working against you, quietly undermining your vitality, and specifically, impacting something really important like achieving and maintaining a firm erection? It might sound surprising, maybe even a little shocking, but it's true. The good news is, understanding what these foods are is the first step to taking back control. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on 5 common foods that can seriously kill your erections after 60 and, more importantly, what you can do about it. Don't go anywhere, because by the end, you'll have practical steps you can start taking today. And make sure you watch right to the very end for something that might just surprise you and change how you think about your diet and your future health. Let's dive straight into the first food on our list, something many of us have grown up with. A staple in breakfasts, lunches, and even dinners for years, often seen as convenient or even a treat. I'm talking about processed meats. Think about those sausages you might have with your eggs, the bacon you enjoy on a lazy Sunday morning, the deli meats you use for sandwiches, or even those hot dogs at a barbecue. They're everywhere. They're easy. And let's be honest, they can be tasty. But these seemingly innocent foods pack a serious punch when it comes to your circulatory system and, by extension, your ability to get and keep a strong erection. Why are they so detrimental? Well, it comes down to a few key factors packed inside them. First, processed meats are typically very high in unhealthy fats, particularly saturated fats. While your body needs some fat, too much saturated fat can lead to the buildup of plaque in your arteries. This process is called atherosclerosis, and it's like rust forming in pipes, narrowing the pathways that blood needs to flow through. Erections rely entirely on healthy blood flow. When blood vessels, especially the smaller ones that supply blood to the penis, become narrowed and less flexible, getting enough blood there becomes a real challenge. It's like trying to water your garden with a kinked hose. The water just doesn't get through with the same pressure. Beyond the saturated fat, processed meats are also loaded with sodium. High sodium intake is a major contributor to high blood pressure, also known as hypertension. High blood pressure puts extra strain on your entire cardiovascular system, including those crucial blood vessels we just talked about. Over time, this constant high pressure damages the delicate lining of your arteries, making them even stiffer and less able to expand when needed. And for an erection to happen, those blood vessels need to relax and expand significantly to allow blood to rush in. High blood pressure makes this process much harder. So, while that slice of ham might seem innocent, the sodium content is stealthily contributing to a problem far beyond just water retention. Another big issue with processed meats is the presence of nitrates and nitrites. These are often added as preservatives and to give meats that pinkish color. While they serve a purpose in food processing, in your body, they can be converted into compounds called nitrosamines, which are linked to various health problems, including damage to blood vessels. Some research also suggests that the nitrates themselves can impair the ability of blood vessels to relax, which is absolutely vital for achieving an erection. Your body needs a substance called nitric oxide to signal blood vessels to relax and widen, while nitrates from vegetables can be beneficial precursors to nitric oxide. The way nitrates are processed and consumed in processed meats, especially alongside high fat and sodium, seems to have the opposite effect on vascular health. It's a complex process, but the bottom line is, These additives aren't doing your blood flow any favors. Let's think about what this means in your daily life. Maybe you have a bacon sandwich for breakfast a few times a week. Perhaps you grab a prepackaged turkey or ham sandwich for lunch most days. Maybe dinner involves sausages or burgers made with processed patties. Individually, they might seem like small choices, but they add up over time. The cumulative effect of regularly consuming these foods is significant wear and tear on your cardiovascular system. And because erectile function is often an early indicator of underlying heart health issues, problems below the belt can be one of the first signs that your blood vessels aren't as healthy as they should be. It's your body's way of giving you a warning signal. Ignoring it isn't just about accepting a diminished sex life. It could mean ignoring a risk factor for heart attack or stroke down the road. So, what's the actionable step here? It's simple. Though maybe not always easy, drastically reduce or eliminate processed meats from your diet. Instead of processed sausages, try making your own patties from lean ground turkey or beef. Swap deli meats for freshly cooked chicken or slices of roast beef. Opt for plant-based sources of protein like beans, lentils, or tofu. When you do eat meat, choose lean cuts and prepare them yourself so you control the salt and added fats. This one change, moving away from processed meats, can have a profound positive impact on your blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and overall vascular health, which are all critical for maintaining strong erections as you age. It's not about perfection overnight, but conscious choices day by day. Think about swapping out just one processed meat meal a week initially, then 2, and build from there. Your body, and specifically your circulation, will thank you. Now that we've shed some light on the hidden dangers in processed meats, let's move on to another pervasive culprit that's sneaking its way into far too many diets, often in plain sight. Moving on from the savory, salty world of processed meats, let's turn our attention to something that gives many people a quick burst of energy and satisfaction. Something sweet. The second major food group that can really undermine your erections after 60 is excessive sugar, especially in the form of sugary drinks and refined sweets. Think about that morning pastry, the fizzy drink you have with lunch, the cookies or cake you enjoy as a snack, or even seemingly healthy options like fruit juices that are stripped of fiber and concentrated sugar. Sugar, in moderation from whole foods like fruit, is okay. But the sheer volume and concentrated forms of sugar in many modern diets are a huge problem for overall health. And yes, for erectile function too. When you consume large amounts of sugar, particularly rapidly absorbed sugars from drinks and refined foods, it causes a rapid spike in your blood sugar levels. Your body responds by releasing a flood of insulin to bring those levels back down. Over time, if you're constantly eating sugary foods, your cells can become less responsive to insulin. This is known as insulin resistance, and it's a stepping stone towards type 2 diabetes. Diabetes is one of the leading causes of erectile dysfunction, and it does its damage in several ways. High blood sugar levels damage blood vessels and nerves throughout the body. Damaged blood vessels become narrowed and stiff, hindering blood flow, a familiar theme. Right. This damage is particularly harmful to the tiny blood vessels needed for an erection. Furthermore, diabetes can cause nerve damage, a condition called neuropathy, which can affect the nerves that control sexual function, making it difficult to achieve and maintain an erection. Even without full-blown diabetes, consistently high blood sugar levels create a state of chronic inflammation in the body. Inflammation is like a smoldering fire that damages cells and tissues, including the lining of your blood vessels. This ongoing damage contributes to atherosclerosis and reduces the flexibility and health of your arteries, making healthy blood flow for erections much harder to achieve. Beyond the direct damage to blood vessels and nerves, excessive sugar intake often leads to weight gain, particularly around the midsection. Carrying extra weight, especially visceral fat, the fat around your organs, can disrupt hormone balance. Specifically, it can lower testosterone levels and increase estrogen levels in men. While testosterone isn't the only hormone involved in erections, healthy levels are important for libido and contributing to overall vascular health and energy levels. A hormonal imbalance caused by excess body fat, often fueled by sugary foods, can definitely put a damper on things in the bedroom. Let's consider the practical side again. It's so easy to consume vast amounts of sugar without even realizing it. That healthy-sounding granola bar might be packed with added sugar. That low-fat yogurt could be loaded with sweeteners. That can of soda contains the equivalent of many teaspoons of sugar. Swapping sugary drinks for water, unsweetened tea, or coffee is one of the single most effective things you can do for your health. Read food labels carefully. Sugar goes by many names: sucrose, glucose, fructose, corn syrup, maltodextrin, etc. Look for added sugars and try to minimize them. Instead of reaching for a cookie or cake, opt for a piece of fresh fruit, a handful of nuts, or some plain yogurt. Small, consistent changes can make a huge difference in stabilizing your blood sugar, reducing inflammation, managing your weight, and protecting your precious blood vessels. Think of it as freeing your body from the sugar roller coaster and letting it find a healthier, more stable state. Protecting your blood vessels from sugar's corrosive effects is absolutely vital for maintaining not just erectile function, but your overall cardiovascular health as you move past 60. It's a challenge because sugar is everywhere and can be addictive, but becoming aware of where it hides is the critical first step. Making conscious choices to reduce your intake is an act of self-care that pays dividends in so many ways. By cutting back on processed meats and sugary foods, you're already building a much stronger foundation for better health and vitality. Now, let's move on to the next item on our list. Another common part of modern diets that can seriously hinder blood flow and energy. Now that we've talked about the impact of processed meats and excessive sugar, let's turn our attention to something that's delicious but often prepared in a way that's terrible for your arteries: fried foods. We're talking about those crispy French fries, fried chicken, donuts, battered fish, and all sorts of snacks like potato chips that are cooked in vats of oil, often at high temperatures and often using oils that aren't the healthiest to begin with. Just thinking about them, you can almost feel the greasy texture. Right, while the occasional indulgence isn't going to ruin everything, making fried foods a regular part of your diet is a fast track to damaging your blood vessels and making it harder to get and maintain an erection. The primary problem with fried foods is the type and amount of fat they absorb during the cooking process. When food is submerged in hot oil, it soaks up a significant amount of that oil, and often, the oils used in frying, especially in restaurants and processed snacks, are high in unhealthy saturated and trans fats. We touched on saturated fats earlier. They contribute to plaque buildup in arteries. Trans fats are even worse. These are created when liquid oils are chemically altered to make them more solid and stable. Like in hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils, trans fats are notorious for raising your bad cholesterol LDL and lowering your good cholesterol HDL, a double whammy for heart health. They also contribute significantly to inflammation. This combination of unhealthy fats acts like a sticky sludge in your bloodstream, directly contributing to atherosclerosis, the hardening and narrowing of your arteries. Imagine your arteries are like flexible garden hoses. Atherosclerosis makes them rigid and narrow. Now, to get an erection, blood needs to flow into the penis rapidly and under pressure. If the hoses are stiff and constricted, the necessary blood flow just can't happen effectively. It's like trying to inflate a balloon by blowing through a narrow, rusty pipe. It's simply much harder, if not impossible. The damage from these unhealthy fats isn't temporary. It builds up over time, making your circulatory system less efficient and less responsive. Beyond the fats, frying food at high temperatures can also create harmful compounds, like acrylamide in starchy foods. While the direct link between these specific compounds and erectile function is less clear than the link to fats and inflammation. The overall burden on your body from consuming foods cooked in this manner contributes to a state of poor health that is antagonistic to optimal sexual function. The high calorie count in fried foods also contributes to weight gain. And as we discussed with sugar, carrying excess weight, especially visceral fat, throws hormones out of balance and increases systemic inflammation, further complicating things. Think about your habits. Are you a regular at the fast food drive-thru where everything seems to be fried? Do you often reach for a bag of chips or other fried snacks when you're feeling peckish? Do you cook with deep frying at home frequently? These are the moments where you're choosing a path that puts significant strain on your cardiovascular system. It's not just about what you eat, it's about how it's prepared. A potato is a healthy food, but turning it into French fries changes its nutritional profile drastically, adding hundreds of calories and unhealthy fats. Chicken breast is lean protein, but battered and deep fried, it becomes a food that harms your arteries. The good news is that avoiding fried foods is relatively straightforward, though it requires mindful choices. When eating out, choose grilled, baked, roasted, or steamed options instead of anything labeled fried, crispy, or battered. At home, experiment with baking or air frying to get that crispy texture without the excessive oil. Instead of potato chips, try baked vegetable chips, unsalted nuts, or fresh vegetables with hummus. When you cook, use healthier fats in moderation, like olive oil or avocado oil, and avoid high-temperature cooking that degrades the oils. Making a conscious effort to reduce your intake of fried foods can make a noticeable difference in your weight, your cholesterol levels, and the health of your arteries. Remember, vibrant erectile function is a sign of a healthy cardiovascular system, and steering clear of artery-clogging fried foods is a critical step in protecting it. By choosing healthier cooking methods and snack options, you're actively working to keep your blood vessels supple and open, ready to do their job when needed. Now, moving beyond the fryer, let's talk about something even more fundamental to many diets: grains, and how the wrong kind can cause problems. Continuing our discussion on foods that can sabotage your vitality after 60, let's examine something that forms the base of many meals: grains. Specifically, we need to talk about refined grains, often found in white bread, white pasta, white rice, crackers, and many breakfast cereals. These are grains that have been processed to remove the bran and germ, which are the parts that contain fiber, vitamins, and minerals. What's left is mostly just the starchy endosperm. While they provide calories, refined grains are nutritionally poor compared to their whole grain counterparts, and they can have a detrimental effect on your health, including your ability to get and maintain an erection. When you eat refined grains, your body quickly breaks down the starch into glucose, leading to a rapid spike in your blood sugar levels. This is similar to the effect of eating pure sugar, just slightly slower. As with sugary foods, these repeated blood sugar spikes require your body to produce a surge of insulin. Over time, this constant demand for insulin can lead to insulin resistance and increase your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And we already know how detrimental diabetes is to blood vessel and nerve health, both essential for erectile function. Consistently high blood sugar levels from a diet high in refined grains damage the lining of your arteries, contributing to atherosclerosis and making blood vessels less flexible. Furthermore, diets high in refined grains tend to be lower in fiber. Fiber is incredibly important for regulating blood sugar, helping you feel full, supporting healthy digestion, and even helping to manage cholesterol levels. A lack of fiber in your diet can contribute to weight gain and inflammation, both of which negatively impact cardiovascular health and hormonal balance, indirectly affecting erectile function. Think about the difference between eating a bowl of oatmeal, a whole grain, and a bowl of sugary, refined cereal. The oatmeal provides sustained energy and fiber, while the cereal causes a quick energy rush followed by a crash and contributes to those damaging blood sugar spikes. Consider your daily meals. Do you regularly eat white toast for breakfast, a sandwich on white bread for lunch, and pasta or white rice with dinner? These are common dietary patterns, but they mean you're missing out on the benefits of whole grains and constantly putting your blood sugar regulation under strain. It's not just about erectile function. A diet high in refined grains is linked to increased risk of heart disease, obesity, and other metabolic disorders, all conditions that compromise your overall health and quality of life as you age. The simple, actionable step here is to swap refined grains for whole grains whenever possible. Look for products labeled 100% whole wheat, whole grain, brown rice, oats, quinoa, or barley. Choose whole wheat bread and pasta instead of white. Opt for brown rice or quinoa instead of white rice. Start your day with oatmeal or whole grain cereal with no added sugar. It might take a little adjustment in taste and texture, but the health benefits are enormous. Whole grains provide fiber, which helps slow the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream, leading to more stable energy levels and less strain on your insulin system. They also contain vitamins and minerals that support overall health. Making the switch from refined to whole grains is a fundamental dietary improvement that supports healthy blood flow and reduces your risk factors for conditions that can lead to erectile problems. It's a powerful way to nourish your body and protect your cardiovascular health, ensuring that your plumbing stays in good working order. Let's move on to the fifth and final food category on our list, one that is often consumed in significant amounts and can add insult to injury when it comes to your arteries. Finally, let's talk about a food group that's delicious and comforting, but can be problematic when consumed in excess, especially the high-fat versions. I'm talking about high-fat dairy products. This includes things like full-fat milk, butter, cheese, and ice cream, like processed meats. These foods are often high in saturated fat. While some saturated fat is part of a balanced diet for many people, consuming large amounts, especially alongside the other foods we've discussed, significantly contributes to high cholesterol levels and the buildup of plaque in your arteries. Remember, plaque buildup atherosclerosis is the enemy of healthy blood flow. And healthy blood flow is absolutely essential for achieving a firm erection. Excessive saturated fat intake raises your LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, which is a major component of arterial plaque. As this plaque accumulates over time, it narrows the arteries and makes them less flexible. This effect is systemic, meaning it affects blood vessels throughout your body, including those vital ones in the pelvic region responsible for erections. It's a slow process, but years of a diet high in saturated fat from sources like full-fat dairy contribute significantly to the deterioration of your vascular health. Think about the impact of a diet rich in cheesy pizzas, creamy sauces, butter-laden pastries, and generous servings of ice cream. While these can be enjoyable treats, making them regular parts of your diet floods your system with saturated fat, putting immense pressure on your circulatory system. Furthermore, some studies suggest that the link between saturated fat and cardiovascular disease is particularly strong when it comes from animal sources, which includes dairy, while dairy also provides calcium and other nutrients. The trade-off with high levels of saturated fat can be detrimental to heart and vascular health when consumed in large quantities. Consider how often you incorporate these high-fat dairy items into your meals. Is there full-fat milk in your coffee or cereal every morning? Do you add butter generously to your cooking? Is cheese a staple in many of your dishes? Maybe piled high on sandwiches or melted over casseroles? Are dairy-based desserts a regular indulgence? These habits, while seemingly small individually, contribute significantly to your overall intake of saturated fat throughout the day and week. The good news is that you don't necessarily have to eliminate dairy entirely, though some people choose to. The actionable step here is to choose lower fat or fat-free versions of dairy products, or explore non-dairy alternatives. Swap full-fat milk for skim or semi-skimmed milk, or try almond, oat, or soy milk. Use less butter and explore healthier cooking oils like olive oil or avocado oil. Choose lower fat cheeses or use cheese more sparingly as a flavoring rather than a main component. Opt for sorbet or fruit-based desserts instead of ice cream. These simple swaps can dramatically reduce your intake of saturated fat without necessarily requiring you to give up the enjoyment of dairy altogether, if you choose to include it. Making these adjustments helps lower your LDL cholesterol levels, reduces the risk of plaque buildup, and improves the flexibility and health of your blood vessels. Protecting your arteries is perhaps the single most important thing you can do nutritionally to support healthy erectile function as you get older. It's all interconnected. A healthy heart and healthy blood vessels throughout your body mean healthy blood vessels where you need them most for an erection. By being mindful of your intake of high-fat dairy, you're making a direct investment in your long-term vascular health and vitality. So, we've talked about 5 types of foods that can really be problematic: processed meats, excessive sugar and sugary drinks, fried foods, refined grains, and high-fat dairy. These aren't just about specific foods. They represent categories of dietary choices that, over time, damage your blood vessels, disrupt hormones, contribute to inflammation, and increase your risk for conditions like diabetes and heart disease, all major contributors to difficulties with erections after 60. You might be looking at this list and feeling a bit overwhelmed, thinking, "That's everything I eat." Or maybe you feel a sense of disappointment because you enjoy some of these things. It's understandable. We live in a world where these foods are convenient, widely available, and often marketed as enjoyable. But here's the truly encouraging part. Making small changes to reduce your intake of these 5 food groups can have a surprisingly significant positive impact on your health, including your sexual health. You don't have to become a perfect eater overnight. The goal isn't deprivation. It's making informed choices that nourish your body and help it function at its best for years to come. Think about swapping out just 1 sugary drink a day for water. Think about choosing grilled chicken over fried chicken just once a week. Think about using whole wheat bread for your sandwiches instead of white bread. These aren't massive sacrifices, but they represent steps in the right direction. Your body is incredibly resilient, and it responds positively to healthier choices. Improving your diet can lead to better blood flow, reduced inflammation, more balanced hormones, and improved overall cardiovascular health. And when your body is healthier, all its systems, including those responsible for sexual function, work better. It's not about magic pills or quick fixes. It's about empowering yourself with knowledge and making sustainable changes that benefit you in countless ways. Reclaiming your vitality after 60 isn't about turning back time. It's about optimizing your health now. With the wisdom and experience you've gained, you have more control than you might think. Changing long-standing habits takes time and patience. Don't beat yourself up if you slip up occasionally. Just acknowledge it and get back on track with your next meal. Focus on progress, not perfection. Find healthier alternatives that you genuinely enjoy. Explore new recipes that use whole, unprocessed ingredients. Cook more at home so you know exactly what's in your food. Partner with your spouse or a friend on this journey. Supporting each other makes it easier and more enjoyable. Remember that maintaining strong erections after 60 is deeply linked to your overall health. Focusing on a nutrient-rich diet full of vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, healthy fats, and whole grains is a powerful way to support your cardiovascular system and your entire body. Avoiding or limiting the 5 food types we discussed: processed meats, excessive sugary drinks, fried foods, refined grains, and high-fat dairy is a crucial part of that strategy. It's about giving your body the best possible chance to function well. This isn't just about sex. It's about confidence, intimacy, and feeling vibrant and capable at every age. It's about having the energy and health to enjoy your life to the fullest, whether that's spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, or maintaining a fulfilling relationship with your partner. Taking control of your diet is a powerful step towards achieving that. You deserve to feel your best, strong and vital, well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. So, I encourage you to think about these 5 food types and how they feature in your diet. Where can you make a small swap this week? Which one can you start reducing today? Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Have you found that changing your diet has made a difference in your energy levels or other aspects of your health? Your insights could help someone else on their journey. If you found this video helpful and empowering, please give it a thumbs up. It helps us reach more people who need this information. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos packed with practical tips for living your best life after 60. Thank you for watching. Keep taking care of yourself. Keep making those positive choices. And live your best life at every age.